Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Browns Beat podcast. You might be asking yourself, what in the world is that? Well, guess what? It's a new podcast. Me and my friend Tristan here, we got talking. He's going to start his own channel. So basically what we're doing is we're doing a podcast together here. We're going to have it on my channel. He's going to post clips on his, and eventually we're just going to move it over to his channel. That's kind of the rough plan right now. So basically, we're just kind of starting this thing. There's no real direction. We're just going. So, Tristan, go ahead and introduce yourself for the people who do not know you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, thanks for having me on the channel, and thanks for starting the podcast with me. It's going to be a good time. I'm really expecting to talk about a lot of Browns content, a lot of AFC content, a lot of NFC content, a lot of football content in general. I love football. I really picked it up after I played hockey for a while, and then essentially I couldn't play anymore because I wasn't good enough, and foot injuries, stuff like that. So I picked up football, and I picked up Browns football, and it's been one hell of a roller coaster. I started following the team back in Hugh Jackson's first season.
So what a time!
My first 2 years as a Browns fan, I experienced one win, and it's like, oh yeah, I picked the perfect time to be a diehard Browns fan. So
hey, you're still here.
Good run. Yeah, absolutely, still here, and not going to change anytime soon. So
yeah, so everybody go follow Tristan on Twitter. He and I both pop in spaces and stuff. That's kind of how this thing started. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into this. So it was a quiet week for the Cleveland Browns. We did not go out and trade for an elite quarterback. We didn't get an elite wide receiver. I don't know what Andrew Berry's doing.
I don't know why we're even doing this in the first place.
I don't know. There's nothing to talk about. No, everybody, big news. So obviously we're going to start off with the hottest topic here. One Mr. Deshaun Watson traded to the Cleveland Browns. Just so you guys know, on this episode, we're going to keep this strictly football. We'll get into some of the case stuff later. Tristan and I both have read into some of this, and now's not the right time. So everybody, I understand there's two sides to this, but we're just going to stick to the football side for this one. So Tristan, I got two questions for you to start off.
Yep.
A, where were you when you found this out, and what was your immediate reaction?
Yeah, so I actually manage two pizza shops about where I'm from, right? So I was actually at one of my pizza shops, and I was just about to have a meeting with somebody, and right before they were about to step in, I see the notification pop up, and immediately I'm thinking, it's a troll. I got bit on one of these guys before. I can't remember what exactly it was. It was it was a Rap Report one before, where it was like a fake one where it was like Browns got him for like a second and a fifth. So I was like, all right, this is another fake one, whatever, right? And once it clicked in my head, like, no, your notifications are on for Rap Report. It's a real Rap Report. I was like, oh my gosh, like, wow, like what? Like I was just in shock. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do because, Deshaun Watson, I mean, he's a fantastic football player. I mean, and, he brings a lot to this team that we haven't ever had, at least not in the Super Bowl era, so it was just like, I didn't even know what to think. I was in shock. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, dude, man, so it's kind of weird, right? Because it happened while everybody was at work. I was wrapping up for the day. I was actually getting ready to walk out. I had maybe like 2 to 3 minutes left of stuff to do. And I'm not plugging them. I'm just going to say that this is the truth. I was listening to Chops' Spaces, and all of a sudden I just hear Brad start screaming. And I'm like,
God.
Yeah, I'm like, what in the world is happening? Like, I thought somebody died. And then all of a sudden I hear him go, "We got Watson." And I was like, we got Watson? You just got, dude. Like, come on. So I went on Twitter immediately, and I'm like, all right, Rap Report. Who's the other one? Schefter. Yeah, Schefter. Yep. So I immediately go to both of them, and I see it, and I read something along the lines of like, in a strange turn of events, Deshaun Watson changes his mind. And I'm like, all week long, I've been saying this gut feeling. And here it is. Absolutely wild.
Yeah. I same thing with the gut feeling part. Like I tweeted out, bad voice crack there.
No, you're good.
So no, rough day for me. I was up late and man, I got a killer voice, like a sore throat, but just fighting through it, got the coffee here, but but going back to Watson, right? So, earlier in the week, I tweeted out, like, I just have this feeling, like, I just feel like we're going to get Deshaun. Right. Mm-hmm. And even when we were out of it, like, I don't want to say I thought we were going to get him. I was just like, man, like, I just can't imagine Andrew Berry. Like if this is their guy, right, this is the guy they're going to go all in for. If this is the guy that they're going to get Baker upset with the media and all of that stuff, right? Like if this is their target, right? And they did this full pursuit of him, knowing that Baker was probably not going to want to come back. There's no way that they're just going to give up now. And so I knew that at some point we would definitely hear the Browns linked to him again. I didn't think that it would be hey, we signed him, I didn't think it would be that. I thought the Browns are, still chipping away at Deshaun, trying to convince him to get back, but yeah. And then obviously when you saw the contract numbers, you were like, that adds up, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, what was it? 5 years, 230 million guaranteed. Oh man. Oh, I can think about 230 million reasons why he chose Cleveland.
Yeah. So, shoot, you give me not even half of a million, and I'll sign up to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think here's my thing, right? I think in terms of what we gave up, pennies on the dollar for somebody that valuable. I mean, you're talking about a guy who was top 3 in every single statistical category the last time he was on the field. And by the way, I saw a comment, I believe, in a video I did. People were saying like, well, look at the wins. Okay. First of all, let me explain it to you in this simple way. All right. This is not hard to understand. He was on a horrible team and he was top 3 in all those categories. So sure, you can say, oh, well, look, they won 4 games. Deshaun Watson has never had this offensive line, never had this run game. And really, this is one of the best wide receiver rooms he's played with. So like this whole idea of like, oh, he's not a winner. You're about to find out.
Well, yeah, and to combat that, I mean, he won a national championship at Clemson, right? And not only that, but the exciting thing from like a player standpoint, like how like the player that we are getting, right? Not only was he like top 3 in a lot of statistical categories, he was an MVP candidate, right? Like he was all of those things. But not only that, but it's the fact that what he does fits what Stefanski has been doing. Like you think about like what Stefanski was doing with Baker, right? Constantly doing play actions, rolling him out of the pocket, allowing Baker to have enough time to get it down the field, right? And, moved away from that stuff last year. I think that was just because of the injury. Baker just didn't have the arm for it. But, when we think about what the Kevin Stefanski offense is, it's play action passing, it's running down the defense's throat, and it's pretty much you have to pick one or the other. You're either going to stop our lethal running attack or you're going to stop our killer scheme on offense. And that's what excited me the most is when I heard the reports that Stefanski for an hour sat in front of Watson with a laptop saying, this is exactly what we run. This is exactly what you do the best. Like to me, it just got me really excited. And, one of the plays that he made during his last year playing was, I don't know if you remember this or not, but he was getting chased out of the pocket and he broke a tackle and the guy, his cleat came up and hit him right in the eye. And he was covering his eye and he throws in for a touchdown. I think it was to like Will Fuller or somebody, but like, it's just like, you can almost picture that exact play in our offense, and so that's the exciting part about it.
Yeah, and along the lines of the offensive scheme, another thing that people have been complaining about Baker, especially last year, is it's so limiting. Why aren't we passing downfield? Well, here's what you got to understand. The Deshaun Watson adjusted version of the Kevin Stefanski offense, I should say, you will see a ton of RPOs. I'm expecting that now. So you're going to see that. You're going to see Deshaun Watson sit back in the pocket, right? We haven't seen that in, 5 years now? Probably even longer than that. So this whole idea that, it's going to still be the same offense, he's going to be handing the ball off 24/7. No, that's just not true. Kevin Stefanski, like you said, when he sat down, it wasn't, hey, we're going to put you in our offense, right? I've already heard reports that Deshaun Watson is going to have like 10 plays that he's going to choose to add to the playbook, So, and another thing, the whole audible situation, Baker did not audible because they didn't trust him, right? And that's why I think the writing's been on the wall for a long time now, not only with the off the field character stuff and some of the locker room issues, but even in terms of trusting a guy to run your offense, Kevin Stefanski just could not do that. Now he's got a guy that can.
Yeah, and you're spot on with that. I mean, I think about, like, for me, the breaking point with Baker Mayfield was that the Green Bay Packers game where our defense, outside of like the first couple of drives, shut out Aaron Rodgers, who is one of the best quarterbacks in all of football, arguably the best in football right now. And so, for me, that was the breaking point because he threw 4 interceptions. And on that, I think it was either the first one or it was one of the first ones where he was backed up against the end zone. He takes his drop back and he chucks it deep. And that was the first, like, where Donovan Peoples-Jones potential pass interference, right? But and he threw it into double coverage. And on that exact play, when he was winding back, they stopped they showed the overhead and they stopped it and they showed Njoku and Jarvis Landry wide open 10 and 15 yards down the field on crossing routes. And it's just, how do you expect that guy, exactly like you were saying, how do you expect him to make audibles at the line of scrimmage when he can't read that, and he would always just overlook his checkdowns. He was always looking for the big play. He was always looking for, the big, exciting, wow. And, I get it. He loved Brett Favre growing up, which is great. And, there's trade-offs with a guy like Brett Favre, who he's a Hall of Famer and he's he's one of the best of all time. He has some pretty bad career lowlights too, the throwing back across the field against the Saints in the Super Bowl, but so it's just, I think the Browns felt that Baker's ceiling was not high enough for as low as his floor was, and the trade-off was just not there. It didn't make sense to run it back with him, and I totally get that, and I totally support their decision.
Yeah, and the reality is, and for everybody who is, and I think if I've learned anything from Twitter just the past couple weeks, the Oklahoma Baker cult is just, I can't believe it. Like, I knew it was bad, but I can't believe it's this bad.
Yeah, it's a cult. It's a cult following.
Oh, it's so bad.
Wow. I mean, they're pulling up receipts like from like 2013, like on people. Like it's bad. It's bad. I mean, hey, look, Oklahoma fans, love your passion, channel it into your football program.
Yeah, no, no kidding.
like, I appreciate your guys' passion and love for the game. That's great. Us Browns fans, we're done with Baker. We're ready to move on. Let's end it,
Yeah, and the thing about that is I understand liking your guy, right? I go to Ohio State. I'm a diehard Buckeye ever since I was born. You don't see me tweeting at the Bears fans when they criticize Justin Fields. I don't care. I couldn't care less. I mean, I just don't understand. And the whole idea, I've literally seen people say that a healthy Baker Mayfield is better than Deshaun Watson.
Oh, I saw that tweet too. That was brutal.
I got breaking news for you. A healthy Baker Mayfield doesn't compare to a hurt Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, absolutely. And, with Baker, as much as I hate to say it, because look, I love Baker. I loved him coming into when he first came into the Browns. He was the pick I wanted. He was the guy I felt was going to change our culture, and he certainly did do that. He helped us. He was a stepping stone for where we needed to go. However, when it came down to it, right, when we needed to rely on him most in those fourth quarter drives, I think about not last year, the year before, that the Chiefs game in the playoffs. He had an opportunity before we punted the ball back to them to go and drive us to a win, and that he couldn't do it. We punted, and we know the rest of that story. It was heartbreaking, and there's so many times throughout Baker's career where the team played well enough to get him into a position where he could win us a game, it felt like with him, when we needed him to step up the most, he did. And it was frustrating as a Browns fan, because it was like, how many one-score games can you lose? When the roster is this talented, when you've got all the talent there, how many one-score games can you lose before you say you got to move on? And I still think Baker can be a really good quarterback in the league. I think he could ascend to the level of like a Kirk Cousins, a Derek Carr, like guys who are regularly rated anywhere from like 10 to 15, maybe a little higher if they're having a good season, right? But they need that extra support to get to the Super Bowl. And that's not a shot on him. It's still a good quarterback,
Yeah.
It's just, we had an opportunity to go get the guy, and we did it.
Yeah. And Baker's biggest problem, and we'll move on to the not accusation. Geez, what a bad choice of words. The acquiring, I should say, of Amari Cooper. But the final thing I'll say on Baker, the guy has talent, right? Nobody can dispute that. But what goes on here will forever ruin him if he cannot fix it. He thinks he's way better than he is. He cannot help himself. He just now is agreeing to work with a quarterback coach. You're a starting quarterback in the National Football League, and you don't work with a quarterback's coach?
Yeah.
That's a problem. And for all of you OU Baker fans, you have to realize this guy has to take responsibility. Sure, I think the Browns did, a couple things wrong. I 100%. But Baker is responsible for half, if not more. And I'm on the more side. So, it is what it is. It sucks. I hoped he would be the guy. I know you hoped he'd be the guy. Me and you both agree on that. I wanted him number 1 overall.
Yeah. And he can still be the guy for another team. It's just with where we're at right now with our championship window, we have to capitalize.
Yep.
So we've got so many young, talented guys on rookie deals, and it would just be a shame if we, did the Derek Carr route where, like, no offense to Vegas fans, because Derek Carr's a good quality quarterback. However, for a long period of his career, he was kind of seen as that, middle of the pack, bottom type of guy. Recently, in my opinion, he's kind of ascended a little bit. But
yes, I agree.
It's just, I think that it's one of those things where your championship window, you got to capitalize on it.
Yeah, and exactly what you just said, right? I was in a space with Falcons fans, and they kept saying, "Oh, the Browns are screwed. They just paid them all this money. They're not going to have anybody on that team." No, people. The reason why we went out and traded for Deshaun Watson, these guys don't become available, right? In his prime at 26 years old, it doesn't happen. B, every single core position, you have a guy locked up, right? Think about this. Quarterback, now obviously 5 years, $230 million. Left tackle, I know we complain about Jed Wills, but we have him locked up. Defensive end, Myles Garrett's locked up. We have 2 young corners. Yes, Ward's not extended, but still Greg Newsome's there. Delpit, JOK, all of these guys are locked up. That's why you go out and you make a move like this. Because in this period of time, you can still add players, right? You can still build on this. And speaking of adding players, Amari Cooper was kind of a trade that was overlooked because obviously the whole Watson watch was going on during that time, and everybody was memeing about Baker throwing to Amari. And I can't tell you how many times I almost hit tweet on the it's not going to be Baker throwing to Amari, and I never did.
Yeah.
But here we are. So, what do you think about that Amari Cooper, Deshaun Watson connection? Because I personally think for Kevin Stefanski's offense, what you're looking for is route runners with good hands. Amari Cooper fits that to perfection. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, Amari Cooper, I love it. And at first I was hesitant because of his cap hit, and obviously because at the very beginning of free agency, we just didn't know how it was all going to pan out, right? And then obviously we ended up restructuring him, which was really nice, but not only that, but the way the wide receiver market fell, I mean, we really like Andrew Berry, hats off to him, because the fact that Christian Kirk is going to potentially be making more than Amari Cooper, and we just traded a 5th-round pick, and not only that, but just today Tyreek Hill got traded and signed to a $30 million a year deal, right? And so but moving off of the logistics side of it, right, or the finances, right, just the individual player. He is exactly what this offense needs. We have a lot of speed. We have a lot of the youth. We have the big guy in Njoku, right? But we don't have a guy who is just going to create separation no matter what. That was one of the things for our offense. I felt like our short passing game, it just was not good. I felt like we couldn't get separation. I felt like, Jarvis, I love Jarvis Landry. I felt this last year, he very much struggled against, man coverage, trying to get separation, so this was an acquisition that we absolutely needed. And it's an acquisition, I think, that fits us like a glove. And I think it allows us to be versatile on offense.
Yeah, and to that point, versatility has been kind of the theme of the Cleveland Browns, right? Look at what they did rebuilding the defense. Grant Delpit can play in the box. He can play free. JOK, he's, everybody was saying he's like a big safety. You got versatility there. Now you're seeing that on offense too, right? You have a guy in Amari Cooper who can be that number one receiver now, possibly a wide receiver too, if you go out and draft somebody, And I can't help but look at the rest of the offense, right? I'm a big Donovan Peoples-Jones guy. I think he's going to have a incredible next step in his career. Same thing for David Njoku. And this will kind of be our last topic here, wrapping up. Time flies, people.
Yeah.
But David Njoku, franchise tagged. So my personal opinion on that is I would have liked to seen him locked up long term. But with that being said, I think it might play out in our favor, because if Njoku sees how playing with Deshaun Watson is and how different it is after he's been playing with Baker, Njoku's going to be utilized a lot better, in my opinion. You're going to see a lot more 50-50 balls, a lot more fades in the end zone, because, sorry, Deshaun Watson's just a better quarterback. You can do more.
Yeah. Yeah, so absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, David Njoku, you want to talk about a guy that's been underutilized in our offense. It's him. For me, I understood us going out and signing Austin Hooper, especially with, David Njoku at the time, with the agent he currently had. He wanted out of Cleveland, right? But eventually, all sorted itself out. I'm really excited for this season, because it feels like, we're not going to have to force feed Austin Hooper the ball because we pay him a lot of money. We're going to be giving it to Njoku, who I think he's a special player. I think he's got all the tools you're looking for, and something that's kind of gone underappreciated in his game. He's actually improved in pass blocking and run blocking. He's made himself a versatile player, and a player that I think with this new improved role in the Stefanski offense, I really think he could show out and have a really good year this year. So I might be picking him up in my fantasy drafts, not gonna lie to you. So.
Oh, I can't wait. And again, talk about versatility. Guy like Kareem Hunt, this is a guy that had a really good 2020 season, was kind of utilized in that wide receiver role as well, and running back to rotate him in. I can't wait to see what he does. But It's going to be an incredible, exciting rest of the offseason. Andrew Berry is still expected to make moves. I'm expecting Jadeveon Clowney. Will Fuller seems like a lock. That's everything that's being reported. So we'll just have to wait and see. And guys, I know this is a little bit shorter of a one. I promise you the next one will be a lot longer. We got a ton of things to talk about. Hopefully Barry gives us more to talk about. Please, Andrew, please. But yeah, everybody, so be sure to leave a like and comment. Let us know what you think. Go follow Tristan on Twitter. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Like I said, he's going to be taking clips and everything like that. And eventually we're just going to kind of shift and move things and evolve. So this is episode 1. Hopefully this is episode 1 of a billion, and hopefully it's as successful as it can get. So Tristan, anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Yeah, just go Browns. And, I'm really excited for future episodes. I can't wait to, not have to worry about technical issues,
Oh, yeah.
This. Yeah. Oh, man. Behind the scenes work, ladies and gentlemen.
You have no idea.
So, all right. But yeah, no, appreciate you for having me on, and appreciate being able to do this podcast with you. I'm really excited for the future.
Yep. So everybody go do everything I just said. And if you don't, I don't know what'll happen. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.